Hey guys, welcome back. If you haven't seen it, watch part 1 of this video. It should be linked in the card above. So, where was I? Yes. Enchantress had just powered up with Brimstone's heart and teleported away, leaving the squad to wonder what the hell just happened. So, they all regroup at Belle Reve and decide what to do next. Well, first they have to piece together what's going on. So they sort of piece together that the comet that was Brimstone's heart and then powered up Enchantress and Blockbuster has to be more important than just being some comet. Maybe it was sent here from another world. It sounds a little crazy, but considering Superman and Zod and the parasite that bit Hitman, it's not impossible. So, say this comet was sent from an alien planet. What's it got to do with Enchantress, and what was its purpose? Well, obviously earlier Enchantress was kind of murmuring about aliens, and so maybe she's connected to extraterrestrial life somehow, and based on their track record so far, aliens tend to want to invade Earth, so they're probably using Enchantress to do that. So Enchantress is a soldier of an alien race that wants to invade Earth. Maybe she wasn't doing what she was told, so they sent a comet to give her the power she needed. Their invasion plan wasn't to send that comet and create Brimstone to destroy the world. Their invasion plan was to create Brimstone as a vehicle for Enchantress to get the comet. But what's the next step? Well, clearly the aliens are having trouble arriving on their own, so Enchantress is trying to bring them here. So Task Force X's new task is to locate Enchantress and stop, well, an alien invasion. Not exactly what the program was intended to do, but here we are. So, their first idea is to use the tracking chip in her neck to track her, but apparently it's inactive because of the power surge from the comet. So then, they check police reports of Enchantress-like incidents, and turns out they all take place near and around Star Labs, the place where June Moon worked. Obviously, they assume that whatever made her into Enchantress and will bring the army is located there. And since she worked for Silas Stone, that's who they first question as Waller sends them off. Now, while all of this is going on, Silas Stone is returning home from work, and when he is greeted by June Moon. But once she gets inside his house, she immediately transforms into Enchantress. She begins screaming in an alien language, which obviously Silas doesn't understand. But she grabs Silas by the neck and looks into his eyes and gains the ability to communicate telepathically in English. She asks Silas to tell her where the mother box is. Silas has no idea what a mother box is, so he asks for more details. She transmits an image into his mind telepathically, and he explains that what she calls a mother box is still located in the basement of Star Labs. The squad arrives just as Enchantress is teleporting away, and just in time to ask Silas Stone a few questions. Silas recants that 2 years ago he discovered the mother box in the Star Labs vault. He was warned against using it because it was so powerful and mysterious, but he used it anyway for experiments he was working on. Deadshot asks what kind of experiments are so important that he'd risk using what's apparently some alien generator, but Silas just brushes off that it was important work. So, they learn it's still at Star Labs, and that's clearly where Enchantress is going, so they head there. They fight Enchantress and Blockbuster outside of Star Labs, realizing how powerful each of them are. Harley mentions that Enchantress should go away and stop ruining their lives by prolonging their sentences with these missions, but Enchantress tells them that she's not their enemy. They share a common enemy. Their true enemy is Waller. Waller was the government agency that hired June Moon to investigate the mother box. Enchantress needs time to build her army. They have 1 hour to decide whether they want to join her and rule the world, or if they want to be crushed by her might. The squad regroups without Waller, and things start to make sense. Harley and Deadshot were both caught at times that seemed impossible. Harley was caught, but the Joker wasn't? And Batman cornered Deadshot at the exact perfect time. Almost like he had eyes and ears all over the city. To the level maybe the government does. But he doesn't. That's what Waller has. Waller hired Batman to take them in. Waller was the one responsible for the death of Bronze Tiger's fiancée, which led him to a life of crime which landed him on Waller's team. After a little investigating, they find out that Friendly Fire's team, Section 8, really did exist, and Friendly Fire really did accidentally kill them in a warehouse fight, but Waller had all the evidence of their existence destroyed. He's basically on the team to be used as Waller's scapegoat and weapon against the rest of the team. Hitman can't believe any of this until he realizes that he too has been a puppet of Waller the whole time. Meanwhile, Enchantress and Blockbuster arrive at a Metropolis construction site near Star Labs. Suddenly, construction workers and some passersby start to hear her voice in her head. "This world must be cleansed, but you shall be spared." She holds up the comet. "With the seed my master has sent, you all shall be saved from the rapture. You will be his disciples." The comet glows as the citizens nearby slowly mutate and transmogrify into her mindless drones. The squad confronts Waller, who is somewhat impressed but not really amused by their discoveries. There's obviously no evidence that she did any of these things, and no one will believe them. Harley, Deadshot, and Bronze Tiger are all criminals, Friendly Fire is literally legally insane, and Hitman is a government science project. Outside of Argus, he doesn't even exist. So she suggests that they do what she says, because there are hundreds of other criminals that she could enlist for Task Force X in the event that they would rebel, so to speak. And now the storm of Star Labs is beginning. So Waller commands them to stop Enchantress because, as you might expect, an alien invasion is not part of Waller's plans. So somewhat begrudgingly, they go over to Star Labs, where Enchantress and her army is waiting. Enchantress asks them if they made the right decision. Hitman steps forward and says, "Yeah, we have," and uses his telepathy to throw a nearby soldier into a building. The battle begins. This is more your typical fight scene. We get to see each character really show off their powers in this construction place setting. Well, except for Harley and Friendly Fire, I guess. But they get to fight. So, now as each character fights through her army, Enchantress inches closer and closer to the basement, with only a couple of the squad members being able to follow her down. She gets in and raises the comet towards the mother box. They begin to glow before they gravitate together. A boom tube begins to open as Enchantress starts chanting in an alien language. This is when the Suicide Squad starts to file in. Deadshot tries to shoot the comet out of the mother box to prevent the boom tube from opening, but Enchantress is protecting it too much. None of the squad can get through. "This world will belong to Darkseid." They need something powerful to stop her, but no one on the squad can do that. They continue to try in vain to get through as the boom tube grows and grows. And then Friendly Fire steps forward. He is the only one that can stop her. He concentrates and concentrates, trying to use his powers to do anything but hurt his allies. He killed his friends. He killed his family. The only reason he's here is to kill other people on the squad. He just needs to do this one thing right. He aims his powers right at Enchantress, and she's incinerated in a great, big, huge, epic tornado of fire. The comet itself is burnt out of the mother box and the boom tube is closed. But there's a price to pay. As his hands get hotter and hotter, Friendly Fire begins to overload. The squad is telling him to stop. They can find another way. He doesn't have to die. But he doesn't stop. As he fights through the pain, he musters out, "The best thing I ever did was this. The best thing I ever did was join the Suicide Squad," as his head flies off. Come on. If I was making a Suicide Squad movie, there's no way I could resist having someone commit suicide. So, it's epilogue time. The government covers most of it up, saying that essentially what happened was a terrorist attack and Amanda Waller's Task Force X was able to stop it. Amanda Waller is praised as a hero inside the government and out. Friendly Fire's death isn't known by anyone not related to the squad, but they do hold their own funeral for him before they're all thrown back in prison. Thanks to Silas's help, they were able to get Star Labs security footage that shows Amanda Waller was to blame for Enchantress. So Waller, quote-unquote, resigns as head of Task Force X, but she stays head of Argus because that's how government tends to work. We end with Hitman explaining this to the squad as he pulls them all back out of prison, since he's now the head of Task Force X. Bronze Tiger remarks that Waller should be in prison, and it's a shame they couldn't do it. Hitman says that hopefully one day there'll be another team. One that can bring her some justice. We fade to what was the mid-credit scene in the original movie, but will be the last scene in this version. It's essentially the same with Waller giving Bruce Wayne metahuman information, but now it's recontextualized as Waller repaying Bruce for taking in Harley and Floyd. The real mid-credit scene is somewhat of an introduction to Cyborg, with Silas going into a secret lab at Star that reveals him in full suit for the first time. So that's my version of Suicide Squad. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and also tell me if you're going to see the Suicide Squad when it comes out. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos on the franchises you love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.